Hey, Mark from Mark of Horror here. Gave Hugsy a new toy to play with, and my daughter gave me Sam from the convention she was at over the weekend. She picked me up a Sam, and I really need to revisit Trick or Treat. It is an awesome movie. If you haven't seen it, you should get it. But today, what I want to talk about is making an instant horror collection. All you have to do is go to your local pawn shops. If you go to, we have some wonderful used DVD stores, and if you want something specific, that's great. You can go there and you can go get it. But if you don't own a lot of horror films and you don't mind DVD, you can go to the pawn shops. I did the rounds of the pawn shops at the city. That's just a little less than an hour from us, and I got Blu-rays for $3 a piece. These do vary in the pawn shops from $3 to about $5, and I just tend not to shop at the ones that are $5 unless it's something you have to have. But for $3, I got the 3D edition of Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, and always check the discs because sometimes the discs aren't there in the pawn shops, and very often they are scratched. So, and you don't need to buy a scratched disc. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Raven, Gamera, which is a Mill Creek Volume 2 of 4 old Gamera movies. This one I hadn't even seen in stores. I just saw at the pawn shop. And Shark Night, because my daughter and I often have Shark Nights. But those were $3 a piece for Blu-rays, and then DVDs are where you really make out. Most of the pawn shops, DVDs are going to run you $1 to $1.50. The most expensive DVDs I've seen at a pawn shop are $2. So just think about that. At $1 a piece, if you go in and spend $50, you got 50 movies. And honestly, if you buy the multiple packs of movies, they still charge you $1. So, for example, I got Todd and the Book of Pure Evil, $1. It's an entire season. I got a bunch of where I had just some holes because the projects I'm doing, I can't really use, because the projects I'm doing on YouTube, I can't really use my Vudu ones. So the movies I have on Vudu, I'm having to replace again with DVDs or Blu-rays, and the pawn shop is the cheap way to do it. I mean, this was one afternoon. I went down one afternoon. I spent 3 or 4 hours and had a nice lunch at a Cuban shop, and I got all these movies. This 3-pack, Graveyard Shift, Silver Bullet, and Pet Sematary. Silver Bullet doesn't have a Blu-ray in the U.S., and there's a new Pet Sematary coming out. But anyway, this 3-pack, $1. The Substitute 1 through 4, $1.
And worth every penny.
And it may not be worth much. Dexter Season 4, Dexter Season 6, $1. Lost Boys the Tribe, Lost Boys the Thirst, and Queen of the Damned, which Lost Boys is really, really good. It's worth $1. You get the other 3 for free. You can make your own choices. Oh, another $3 one I forgot about. Blood the Last Vampire. I've not seen it. I have no idea if it's any good. $3 for a Blu-ray is a great price, and if I don't like it, I can take it to McKay's or one of the other used DVD shops. Honey, Look Away. 8-Legged Freaks. I love this film. She hates this film. This one, Arachnophobia, has some scary parts. 8-Legged Freaks is just fun. I'm going to go hide this now, though, because my wife can't stand spiders. But Hellboy, which I had on Vudu, but now I have it for use. Audrey Rose, which I haven't watched in 20 years. I don't know if it holds up at all. Cursed, as you can see, you get some stickers on them sometimes, but again, $1. What Lies Beneath, $1. Blade Trinity, $1. I See You Sense a Theme here. They're all $1. Diary of Ellen Rimbauer, $1. Piranha Double D, again, stickers, $1. My wife is laughing at that one. She didn't know that they made a sequel to Piranha 3D, and it's Piranha 3 Double D. But just some other holes that I had. Tom Cruise's War of the Worlds, which does suffer from being mostly about Tom Cruise and less about the Martians. But it does have some really, really cool scenes. And the scenes where the Martians first attack, those are absolutely brutal. Those are pretty scary. Final Destination 5, if you see the Final Destination series in stores, it's 1 through 4. Because they can fit 4 discs conveniently in a case. So I have the Blu-rays of 1 through 4. Number 5, guess how much it cost? $1. Hollow Man, my wife hated this one. It's an Invisible Man story, but there's an Invisible Man rape in it. Rape is not a fun thing to take a date to. Conjuring, Exorcist The Beginning, which is no good. Walking Dead, 2nd season, $1. It's $1.
Why do you buy the ones that are no good?
Because I have to have all of them. I have to have all the horror movies because part of the video work that I'm doing, I have to excerpt different horror movies, and I'll be comparing good ones to bad ones, and so I have to also have the bad ones in order to be able to excerpt them. And they're $1. The Others, $1. American Werewolf in Paris, probably only worth $1. But when I do the episode on American Werewolf in London, I'll do a little bit on American Werewolf in Paris too, perhaps showing you why this should not have been made. Vacancy. See, and it just goes on. All these were $1. All of these DVDs were $1. Hills Have Eyes. I still haven't taken the stickers off. These peel off easily. The important thing is to just make sure you get unscratched discs. Underworld Rise of the Lycans. Spawn with Michael Jai White as Spawn, and we met him at Action Fest, and he was absolutely delightful. Final Destination in 3D. It's a DVD in 3D. Blu-rays in 3D I've seen. I didn't know they did DVDs in 3D, so I'm intrigued by what this is. But it does say it includes two pairs of 3D glasses, which I don't think are inside there. Might as well find out now. I had checked the disc and I don't remember seeing... Oh, no, they're here. Yeah. So I have 3D glasses. So novelty factor. Plus the slipcover's lenticular. Lost Souls.
I think you mean spectacular.
Spectacular. Boogeyman. I can't remember seeing that one. Turistas. Devil's Advocate and Insomnia. The Shining. X-Files, I Want to Believe. These are all $1. The Exorcist. By the way, when I do the Exorcist episode, I want to talk a lot about Exorcist 3, which I think is better than The Exorcist. Zombieland, $1. Underworld Evolution, $1. Silent Hill, $1. We had the chance. We were traveling a couple of months ago, and we had the chance to stop by Centralia, Pennsylvania, which is basically the setting for Silent Hill, where they have a coal fire that's burning underground, and it's just toxic gas pouring out of cracks in the pavement, and everybody's been moved out. But we read stories of people who would bend over to inspect the cracks, and they would pass out, and that would be it for them. So, plus, I can't imagine what do you do when you're in an area that doesn't have cell phone coverage and you take your car there and something happens to the car? Skeleton key, splice, this one's creepy, blade, pardon my quickly flipping through, 2 classic slashers, My Bloody Valentine and April Fool's Day, for $1. $1, I'm telling you. Vampire Effect, I haven't seen this one, don't know what it's about, other than that it's vampires. It's $1. Crimson Rivers, which is a French detective thriller, but if I recall correctly, it also has supernatural elements, and Christopher Lee's in it, which is really all you had to say. You didn't even have to tell me the plot. Christopher Lee's in it, and I didn't already own it, so I bought it. The Ninth Gate, with Johnny Depp, which I'm really tired of Johnny Depp playing the same character in every movie. Hilary Swank and The Reaping. Something called Dire Wolf, which I'm going to bet you was named something else, and then Game of Thrones came out, and they went ahead and renamed it Dire Wolf. Robin Cook's Invasion. P2, a horror movie set in a parking garage, because we had no money to film. And Antibody. Like with the Christopher Lee film, Lance Henriksen. That's all you have to put on the cover. I'll buy it. $1. All of these, $1. You can take $50, $60 and have an instant horror movie collection. There were plenty that I passed up where I already had copies of more well-known films. Like I have all the Friday the 13th. I have all the Saw films, and so on and so forth. Most of the series I have. So I don't really have to worry about picking those up. But you can go out, and in one day you can have an instant horror movie collection. And this is, 50 or 60 films, so it's going to take me forever to watch them. And I watch more than you do. Anyway, I better call it a night, because I've got a lot of films to watch. See ya! Don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, stuff like that there.